What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Once again, we are back for the career mode journey, episode number 28 for the Austrian Grand Prix. For some reason, when I was trying to film this episode today, EA account was just not having any of it. So, yeah, that was nice. First time jumping on the game since the new patch, which has addressed the AI. They should be a lot less OP in a straight line, so I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, it is time to negotiate a contract with our teammate, or maybe sign someone else. We're signing someone else. Goodbye, Mark Webber. It was lovely having you, but mate, you were just too slow. Just too slow. No, I'm joking, of course. We are going to re-sign Mark Webber. He's been the best teammate I think I've probably had ever in career mode. He's really been challenging us. He's on the verge of overtaking us in the driver's standing, so there's absolutely no reason why we shouldn't sign him for the rest of the season. He's got great experience, great pace, and we don't need to do too much work in terms of facility upgrades to extract his pace, unlike some of the younger drivers like Oscar Piastri, for example. So, Mark Webber is accepted, and he is signed for the team for the next 8 race weekends. Will we see Mark Webber in Season 3? Well, that'll depend on how the rest of this season goes. I mean, if he is continuing to be exemplary, and if he beats me this season, then I might have to sign him for another season. I can't ditch someone who then beats me in my own team. So, we'll play it by ear. Let me know what you guys think. I'm always keen to hear what you guys think of the whole journey and the decisions we are making in this career mode. Of course, I take those decisions and feedback with your consideration in mind as well. Anyway, time for the Austrian Grand Prix. We're going to do some upgrades. We've got a major front downforce upgrade. We can squeeze on in time for the Hungarian Grand Prix, which I think is a bit of a no-brainer. Hungary, high downforce circuit. It only makes sense. Unfortunately, there's no discounts there, but we will squeeze it on just about in time for that race, as long as the part doesn't fail. 400 resource points to spend as well, and I think maybe it's time we start addressing some durability, especially with the big discounts we've got at the moment. So 57% discount for the electrical systems. Only a minor upgrade, but still it's an upgrade nonetheless. We are by far the worst car in terms of reliability. It's been a miracle that we haven't had any failures lately. Touch wood. So let's hope we don't get those today. We don't want to get those at this point in the career mode where the car is starting to get very nice. We get a weight reduction upgrade, I believe, on for this race. We also got another upgrade, so that should push us a little bit further on in the performance index. Now, being the Austrian Grand Prix weekend, it is a sprint weekend, so we've got a very stacked episode to get through. A bit of rain potentially in qualifying. Then we have the sprint, and then, of course, the main Grand Prix. Unfortunately, I was an idiot and didn't take a look at the performance index, but that's how it looks right now. We're basically level with Alpine and not too far behind Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, everyone basically at this point. That graph, I will say, makes things look closer than what it is, but even still, we are very, very close to those top running guys now. So, a couple of major upgrades have gone on for this race, and let's hope it does the business for us here in qualifying. So, let's go out there now. We're set. We're ready for the second half of the season. We've signed our teammate. Mark Webber's got that backing from the team. He's got that relief, and now he's got the confidence to now just get on with the job and just drive well. Do what he does best, basically. So let's see what he can do. Let's see what we can do. This is a track I absolutely love. And now that the AI aren't so strong in a straight line, I'm hoping that we can actually be quite competitive. I'm expecting Q3 in this set. Hopefully we can get Q3. I don't know if we'll have to knock out someone in a better team to do so. Hopefully there are enough slots in Q3 for us to just slide on in there for myself and Mark. It would be great to get some points out of a sprint race weekend in both the sprint and in the main Grand Prix. But first run hasn't gone to plan. We are 1.6 seconds off and in 19th place. And at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I was thinking that maybe Codemasters didn't do their job. Maybe they didn't adjust the AI as much as they should have, because I've whacked the difficulty back up to previous OP levels, and I was fearing that this is going to be a bit of a mudded weekend. But we're making some setup tweaks, taking some tire pressures out, taking some fuel out as well. Another run. the first lap actually, in honesty, wasn't amazing. So we can definitely find some more time. So here we go, 3/10 up as we go through even the first 3 or 4 corners. We're finding half a second now as we make it round the even the second half of the lap. Hopefully we can make up even more time through the last 2 corners. Remember, 1.6 seconds off. If we can improve by 1.6 seconds, that's pole. Even if we're a second away, that might be top 10 pace. So, oh, hello, 7/10 up as we approach the last corner. 7.5 as we cross the line. That puts us P19. Okay, well, a second away would get you top 10 in Season 1 at the start of the career mode, but not this deep into it. Everyone is so closely matched now in terms of performance that even if you are a second off, you're still pretty much at the back, which is absolutely crazy. Got to remember as well, this is a short circuit, so yeah, the margins are going to be very fine. Anyway, last run of this session, and we are in the danger zone. I was stupidly almost expecting Q3 with these upgrades, but now we're staring down the barrel of P19. We are up by 4, nearly 5/10 on this last lap here, so this will put us half a second away from pole, but given how close the field is, who bloody knows where this is going to put us? We run wide at the second last corner, turned in too early for that high-speed right-hander. We do improve by 6/10, and that gets us into P6. Oh my word, we can breathe a sigh of relief. We're going to crack on again for another lap. No, we've got floor damage, and that is curtains for our session. We're going to have to bring it back into the pit lane and get the car repaired in time for Q2, hopefully. But everyone else is just going out now for their final run. So with that, I've actually decided to carry on and help my teammate Mark Webber. We're going to give him some slipstream on the run into turn 3 here. And then we should still be ahead. Yes, we are. And we're going to give him a nice tow down into turn 4. He's actually not opting to take the slipstream. Mark, are you okay? There we go. Slipstream done. And Mark Webber only goes and bottles it. So that was GG. Mark Webber not making the most of that final lap there. We end up in P14. 6/10 away, and we're P14. That is absolutely outrageous. Robert Schwartzman's in the best car in P8, 3/10 away. It's not much in the grand scheme of things, but he is down in P8. He's miles away in relative terms in this field when it's so close halfway through Season 2. This is absolutely crazy. Let's hope this continues into future seasons, and we could see anyone winning this championship. Regardless, even without Mark Webber's last lap, he does squeeze through by 1/100th of a second to make it through to qualifying 2. And speaking of Q2, speaking of some rain that was on the forecast, stupidly, I didn't react very quickly to get out there. I looked at the forecast. You can see it's sunny in 5, 10, 15 minutes time. So I wasn't really stressed about getting out there straight away. But much to my demise, it actually is raining. It's not sunny, and the track has already seen its best performance. It's already seen its best pace. And, well, we're going to have to set a dry compound or a dry lap on a fairly slippery circuit, which is not going to be ideal. All the people who got their times in early got it on a much drier track than what I'm running on at the moment. But I will say the grip actually felt really nice for the conditions. For 5 seconds off the pace, you know, it actually felt decent considering how much water was on the circuit. We press on for another lap to see if we can squeeze anything out of it. The first lap was okay. It wasn't great. But then the second lap, the second push lap curse bites us in the arse. And, yeah, that's a loss of front wing. We're going to have to hope and pray that the rain goes away, the sun comes out for the final 10 minutes of this session, and we can improve. Because otherwise, we're in the mud, much like we are there. So, yeah, back to the pits with our tail between our legs. Going to fix up the car. We're going to make some setup adjustments, I imagine, and hope like hell that the track dries out. So, let's see what we can do. In the meantime, let's go out on a set of intermediate tires and see if we can better our time, because actually some people went faster than me on intermediate. So, looks like the Inter actually isn't too far away from the dry compound pace or the dry lap that I set earlier on in the session. In the end, we couldn't improve on the time. We got close for the most part, about three or four tenths slower than my banker lap. And unfortunately, I just couldn't get any closer than that for the rest of the session. In the end, the track didn't dry out. The sun didn't even come out. So the forecast was lying to us. So I opted to stay out for the rest of the session, just doing laps upon laps on my own in this circuit, trying desperately to get myself into Q3. If I could only find just a little bit of time on my previous lap, then I'd be a great shout of getting into the next session, but we were just missing that half a second we needed, and that was the session. So, game over. It's P15, and yeah, that was on me. I should have just went out earlier. I trusted the forecast too much. I should have just been a bit more proactive there and got out straight away. Got a time in, because you never know what happens in these rain-affected sessions. Unfortunately, it's a knockout in Q2, and we're going to have to make our way through in the sprint race. Thankfully, we do have the sprint race to kind of recover some positions to start the Grand Prix in the position we should be in, which is well inside the top 10 with Mark Webber. He did get P8, but it remains to be seen what he actually got there in Q3. So hopefully, he's moved even further forward. But there we go. That's been a suboptimal start to the weekend. Thankfully, we've got a lot of racing to get through, so let's do it now. Please like and subscribe, and let's get into the first of 2 races this weekend, the first of which being the sprint.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint.
All right, so here we are on the grid, P15. No grid penalties apply for the sprint race. They will be saved for the main Grand Prix. So if we can get even close to the top 10, then there's a good chance we might start inside the top 10 once grid penalties are factored in. So that's the setup that we're running for this race weekend. I think, crucially, it's all going to be down to the start. There's going to be no tyre strategy, really, that plays into it. Hopefully, we can get off to a flying start and just utilize the raw pace that we now have in this car. Mark Webber's in P7, so he's looking pretty good for some points today, and I'd most certainly like to join him in the top 8, which is going to be quite a tall order to do at this point in the career mode. Everyone's so closely matched, but if we can find something in this race that's going to get us past these guys, then we fully want to utilize that. So here we go, 5 red lights for the sprint race here in Austria, and it is go time for the first of 2 races this weekend. Looks like a pretty decent start. Maybe we've been buffed or the AI have been nerfed in terms of starts, I don't know, but since coming back to this game with the new patch, I find starts a lot easier, which is nice to see. Maybe all those TikTok starting videos you've been tagging me in lately have actually helped out a little bit. So yeah, stop tagging me in that shit. Anyway, turn 3, we dive bomb many cars. Both the Mercedes are in the mud, but Hamilton climbs himself out of it with a nice exit there. We're trying to get past Sergio Perez once again as we head into turn 4. Lovely stuff. That is P12. So pretty good start so far. Let's hopefully kick on and do the business in this race. Looks like Mark Webber's moved forward as well. He might be in the top 6, getting past one of the Ferraris, I believe. So that would be quite incredible if he has managed to do so. We've got an Alpine going slowly here. It's Ocon getting overtaken by Ricciardo. Damage? No damage. I don't think there's any damage. I think it was just a poor run for the Alpine driver. Yellow flag through the first sector. What's going on here? Mark Webber's going slowly. Mark Webber's out of the Grand Prix. Mark Webber is out of the Grand Prix. And this is why I'm flabbergasted at that. I can't believe it. Mark finally gets a good start. He qualifies in a great position. No grid penalties this race. Re-signed, fresh contracts. Out of the Grand Prix. Right from word go. That is absolutely unbelievable. And that's going to cost us some big points because Mark was on target for some in this race. And he's going to be starting the main Grand Prix from last place on the grid. It promotes us up to P9. We're one step closer to points, but I really wanted a double points finish here in this race, and it doesn't look like it's going to be very promising with a track limits warning already in this race. Robert Schwartzman is into the pit lane. He's got some front wing damage. So that's now put us up into the points. That drama that was going on in the last 2 corners, I don't know what to call it, has really benefited us massively. We got past Ricciardo and the Alpine, and now we're in the thick of it for P7 in this Austrian Grand Prix. Gasly is up next in the AlphaTauri, and I believe we are faster than the AlphaTauri, so we should be able to make pretty quick work of this guy. Magnussen's then 2 seconds up the road, and all of a sudden, we're looking at a top 5 finish in this Austrian GP sprint race, which is pretty insane if you ask me. 9 laps to go. We're currently chilling in the slipstream in the DRS of Pierre Gasly. I thought I'd take that opportunity after that fast start to save a bit of battery, save a bit of tyres, and then go again in a couple of laps once the battery's fully charged up. So that's the plan. Second warning of 3. One more and we'll get a penalty, and that will almost certainly put us outside of the point. Someone's going very slowly. Oscar Piastri is out of the Grand Prix. Oh, and the VSC has come out at the worst time, because I was shaping up a move on Pierre Gasly down into turn. Oh my word! Massive crash for Pierre Gasly's on the mind. Oscar Piastri. Is that going to be a tongue twister in 2023 when he's on the grid? I'm not too sure. Piastri is out of the race, and this is why. The Haas driver going really slowly at the apex, going into the pit lane. It is a bit of a bottleneck there at that second last corner. Has caught out the AI many a time in career mode, and it is no exception today. VSC deployed, and I'm honestly fuming, because I was holding back for many laps trying to charge up my battery. VSC ruins those plans, charges up everyone else's battery, and we have to contend with potentially OP AI once again. As we go up the inside of Gasly into turn 3, we give him a little squeeze, and that is job done. For me personally, I actually find it difficult to run with AI at the start of races in terms of like one shot or like qualifying laps when they've got their battery fully charged up. The AI are very fast. They are very potent. Very lucky to not get a warning and a penalty there for that final couple of corners track limits there. Game must have thought we lost time, which was rather fortunate on our front. Anyway, Kevin Magnussen is up next. He's 2 seconds up the road. We're trying to make some inroads on him. Someone else is out of the Grand Prix. Oh my word! It's Daniel Ricciardo. So the only retirements we've had today are Mark Webber, Oscar Piastri, Daniel Ricciardo. There's still time left in this race to make that the quartet of Australian drivers out of this race. F1 gods, this isn't the Australian Grand Prix. This is Austria. There's no Australian Grand Prix curse at Austria. Just thought I'd let you know. So let me finish this race, please. Regardless, we have a Ferrari, we have a McLaren fighting side by side as they run up the hill for the 10th time in this race. Carlos Sainz trying to get past Fernando Alonso for a spot on the podium. Meanwhile, we're still chilling, trying to make some dents on the gap to Magnussen, but unfortunately, oh my word, we've run wide again and got away with it. So, yeah, just turning in too early. We wash out wide with understeer. Let's kind of fix that up for the race. That's the good thing about the sprint race format is we can learn from this pretty much race-long stint here, or a tyre-long stint on these mediums, and apply some changes to the main Grand Prix and regroup and go again for the main race. So that's what we're going to do. P15 to P6, not bad.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Not bad at all. Shame Mark wasn't here to join us, but we pick up some points. Crucial knowledge for tomorrow. Let's make the car better and push for a top 5.
So let's review the drivers' standings. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. The grid is set then, so that just leaves the race itself. Join us tomorrow, where we'll be live with all the action. And until then, goodbye.
Damn. So Red Bull take a 1-2 in the sprint race. Fernando Alonso left on his own with Robert Schwartzman having that front wing damage early on. Not too sure what happened there. But not a good day for McLaren, a great day for Red Bull. And not a good day for the rest of the Australians. All 3 of them DNFing in this race. I suppose I'm not a true Australian, am I? Because I do live in the UK. But pretty much so do the other guys as well. So Yeah, it's a weird one. Regardless, it's a good start to the weekend. We're much closer to the front of the grid, starting the main Grand Prix than what we would have otherwise been if this was a traditional race weekend format. So I'm thankful for that, I suppose. Let's see if we can kick on from here. I guess the aim is to beat Kevin Magnussen. Now that we're starting near him, he's going to be the benchmark for us to get best of the rest. So I think we'll look to do that if we can. No changes really in the drivers or the constructors, but it's a good flow of points regardless. Alpine, there's such a gap between us.
This is it then, race day in Spielberg for this year's Austrian Grand Prix. Not long to go before our drivers hurtle off the line and into the first turn, the Niki Lauda curve, as it was renamed in 2019 in memory of one of Formula One's most beloved figures. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen, Benjamin, Ricciardo, and Mark Webber.
Oh, that's weird. Alex Jakes really motored through that. Maybe he needs to go to the toilet. But either way, I've taken over now for the pre-race comms. Here we are. Anthony Davidson, are you ready? Are you excited for the Grand Prix? I don't know, he said something about pre-race nerves for the 30,000th time, so we'll gloss over that. But here we are, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. We are going to make some changes to the setup. I'm not going to show them to you, unfortunately, because I feel like I might have actually made a bit of a breakthrough with the setup, and I don't... There's a lot of Alex Gillen spies out there, so... For the sake of that, we will save what change we made until after tonight's co-op, which will hopefully be live 6 p.m. I don't know if I'm getting this video out before or after 6 p.m. But I guess we'll find out whether the changes I made worked, and I'm out of the mud in co-op. But regardless, the link to my Twitch is down in the description, where you guys can see all my live streams. I want to do some open lobbies with you guys this weekend for crossplay, which is returning once again. Regardless now, back to this race. Let's see if we can move forward in this race and mix it with the top teams in Formula One. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the Austrian Grand Prix. Getting a bit of deja vu as we head down into turn 1, though I don't remember being this high up before. Regardless, I will absolutely take it. Sainz squeezing Magnussen onto the curb, and that's helped me out massively as we move up into the top 5 after only one corner in this race. Up the inside of the Ferrari. Hell, let's go for it. Let's absolutely send it and see what we can get away with in this race. You know, the changes might have worked, or very well, they could have gone in the bin, basically. I really wanted to seize this opportunity to do something that I've kind of wanted to do setup-wise, but I've been worried about how it'll affect the car. But now that I have a reference from the sprint race yesterday on the medium compound tires, we're starting on the medium now in the main race with a little bit more fuel. We'll have some direct comparisons as to whether the one change I made kills the performance or makes it really weird and oversteery or unstable or whatever. We'll see if it works or not, and we can directly attribute it to that one change we made. But so far, it seems livable so far in this race. I don't want to give too much away, but you know, if you have your wits about you probably know what I did. But regardless, we are flying in this Grand Prix. We're staying with Charles Leclerc, lap 3 of 36. My goal for these opening few laps was to get amongst the race leaders. We've done that. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the session, and now we have a VSC. Okay, so this VSC, unlike the one in the sprint race, actually really helps us out because I've underfueled. I lowered a bit of fuel. I didn't want to take too much out. But I was expelling a lot of battery early doors to stay with the AI because the DRS is so crucial around here. It's only a 60-ish second lap time, and there's 3 DRS zones in that one lap. So if you can stay within 1 second of a much faster car, then you can pull off some miracles at this place, and we have done so many times before over many games. In a suboptimal car, we've been able to cling on to the DRS of faster cars and get dragged away from our teammate, dragged away from our usual rivals, and it looks like, once again, the strategy is working. We're staying, and we're running with a Red Bull. Thanks to the DRS, thanks to the slipstream, it's keeping us in this fight. We are losing touch to the race leaders who are edging away in P1 and P2, but I'm not really stretching myself really to stay with Charles Leclerc here. If anything, I'm actually saving my tyres a little bit through the corners because I'm not going anywhere. I mean, I'm not getting dropped by Leclerc. I don't need to push too hard, and if anything, we might start pulling away from Kevin Magnussen and then literally everyone else behind him. So this is playing right into our favor as we see a fight for the race lead here between the two championship protagonists, Fernando Alonso and Max Verstappen. They are starting to engage in combat, and that's going to drag them a little bit into our battle, it seems. So long may that continue. Do you imagine if we could actually get in the fight here for a race victory? We are going to fight for a P3 now and see if we can crack on in this race as we go round the outside of Charles Leclerc in the Red Bull. He hasn't quite had the measure of his teammate Verstappen this season, and if anything, we might actually have a little bit more pace than him as we get the move done. These next couple of laps will be telling as we do go purple to the first sector. That was with DRS. No purple overall lap time though. So we'll have to keep plugging away, I suppose. Verstappen on the inside of Alonso, and I think that might be front wing damage for the McLaren driver. It is. His front right end plate has been torn off by the Red Bull at the second last corner. Contact made with simulation damage is going to cause nightmares between the two championship rivals. Alonso has damage. I'm not too sure about Verstappen. That kind of side-to-side contact as well. You can't really discount Verstappen having damage either, with maybe in the floor or the sideboard or something, as they make more contact at turn 4. Alonso is taking the lead back, and he's going to be absolutely fuming. He is going to squeeze this guy all day. There he goes, right on cue. Alonso is probably going to box. He's probably going to come into the pits. He's got so much damage that it's going to be costing him on that front end. You can see him sliding on exit of the fast right-hander. He's now falling into our clutches. We get up the inside into the second last corner. Alonso must be boxing. And he is into the pit lane. We are now in P2 in the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm sorry, but what is happening in this race? In the sprint race, we weren't even faster than the Alpines. We were barely hanging on to Kevin Magnussen. All of a sudden, we rock up today, and we are now in the fight for the lead of this race, potentially. And also, I will say, I've also increased the difficulty for this Grand Prix. I had a feeling we'd be able to find a little bit more speed from Saturday to Sunday with the track gripping up, me getting a little bit more used to the car, the setup, the feel, and also the setup change we made. All those things combined, I thought we'd be able to move forward a little bit. Also starting further up the order, tyre strategy, all sorts. But I didn't expect to be this competitive. It's a bit stupid. Anyway, lap 11, and we are within striking distance of overtaking Max Verstappen to lead the Grand Prix. How is this a thing? Anyway, Mark Webber is making his way into the pit lane. That's unfortunately an early pit stop for him. He might have some front wing damage, which would be devastating for our hopes of getting a double points finish in this race. Even from the back, I was half thinking Webber would be able to get a top 10, but now I'm not so sure with that out of sync pit stop. I think he'll go to halves and go to the end of the race from there. It's going to be an awfully difficult comeback from there. But for us, yeah, I think Verstappen's got damage. I think he made contact with Alonso the second last corner, and I think he's got some floor damage or sidepod damage or something, because the pace just hasn't been the same from these guys ever since that moment. They were pulling away in the early laps, and now Verstappen is sliding. We get up the inside, heading into turn 3, and we now lead legitimately a race in this career mode on pure merit. Pure merit. What is happening? Purple to the first sector. Let's see if our hopes and dreams are shattered instantly. They are not. Verstappen hasn't overtaken us on the straight. We lead this Grand Prix, and we may actually be able to pull away somehow from Verstappen. I mean, Verstappen, even with what I suspect is damage, has been able to pull away from Carlos Sainz, Magnussen, Leclerc behind. His pace was that strong, and now, do we have the fastest car in the field? I don't know what's happening. Fernando Alonso might be a big threat still in this race. He did make an early pit stop. But yeah, the fact that Sainz, and especially Leclerc has gone backwards too. So something really weird has gone on in this Grand Prix, guys. I don't know. Is there a lot of floor damage for a lot of the AI? Their pace has just kind of fallen off a cliff from last race to this. We'll have to compare the times because I really can't put my finger on it. I think I have gone a bit faster, or feel quite a bit faster than what I was in the sprint, by virtue of the changes, getting my eye in the circuit a little bit more, and maybe as well the AI have been brought down a peg or two with clattering into each other with Verstappen and Alonso. I can't say the same for Sainz and Leclerc though. I mean, Leclerc is really slow. He's even 5 seconds behind Sainz, and he was you know, in the running for P3 at one stage. So it's a real weird one. It's a head scratcher, but it's a good kind of head scratcher. I really am thrilled with how this Grand Prix is going. So much so I've got confidence in overcutting Max Verstappen. So we're looking to solidify the advantage we have in this race by switching on to fresher tyres for the rest of this race. So here we go. Rejoining on the racetrack once more. Verstappen on the left-hand side. We are just about going to have the lead of this Grand Prix. It's going to be a bit of an arm wrestle as we head into turn 3, though. Verstappen on the outside. We're on the inside. Cold tyres on the hards as well. Verstappen late on the brakes. But we managed to carry the speed and carry the understeer with us as well. Onto the curve for Verstappen. And we maintain the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix with 17 laps to go. That is mad. We're in the fight to win this race, guys. We are well and truly on target for something absolutely special here. Whether it's on the top step or even on any step of the podium, I will absolutely take that. We've got our tyres up to temperature, and now we can crack on with the rest of this race. Let's see if we've got the pace on the hards to do anything against these guys. One major fear is that the guys on hards would absolutely floor past me on these tyres, or Verstappen would change his wing and then have incredible pace. But no, he doesn't have incredible pace. He has incredible amounts of gravel in his radiator. Verstappen has taken a unscheduled stop into, I don't know, a beach holiday destination. It's not the summer break yet, mate. He is potentially out of the running of winning this race now. Verstappen has had an absolute mare there. And now, both of the championship contenders, let me just get this straight, both of the championship contenders are not in the top 5 anymore. What is happening in this race? 14 laps remaining. Alonso has now got ahead of Verstappen. So even Alonso with his older tyres has got ahead of Verstappen and is now shaping up to try and get past Leclerc. Something is going on with these leaders. They are all falling by the wayside. Now Carlos Sainz is the only one really to defend their honour. We set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix. I was absolutely going for it now at this point. This is our chance to win a race this season. Even though we don't have the car for it, we're not a million miles away from front-running pace with our recent upgrades we've made. So, yeah, I just decided to go for it. Use a bit of battery. We have been looking after our tyres a little bit throughout this Grand Prix. And now that we've broken the DRS to Sainz, we're just cracking on. We're just motoring away. The Ferrari doesn't have the pace to run with us. And we got K-Mag on the final step of the podium in P3, pretty much doing the same pace as Carlos Sainz. So not only us have moved forward pace-wise from Saturday to Sunday, oh my word, there's a quick lawn mowing job in this race. As if I didn't already have enough to do in this one. I decided to take on some extra work, so lovely stuff. Got caught up on that yellow sausage, which can do all sorts of things to the car, so you absolutely don't want to touch that on this game. So that's a lesson in what not to do. But yeah, we move forward pace-wise from Saturday to Sunday, but massive shout-out to Kevin Magnussen as well, to go from P5, P6 to podium in this one. Incredible effort. But yeah, it's just been a whirlwind this race weekend. It started off very meh. We got knocked out in Q2. Didn't seemingly have the pace over one lap, but as the weekend has evolved, we've just gotten quicker and quicker and quicker, despite upping the difficulty for each session. It's been absolutely bonkers. And now on this lap, this is my attempt at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We've been saving up our battery for the last couple of laps. I have been using higher gears at times to look after the rear tyres, to maybe save something for the end in case there was a late safety car or something. But maybe this backing off, maybe just taking it down a peg for my driving and technique has actually made me faster. I am a chronic overdriver sometimes, and maybe just chilling out a little bit is the best way to go. They do say slow in, fast out is the way to go. So maybe a new leaf has been turned by Tiametmarduk in this race today. And you're witnessing it all live here on YouTube. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix. That's a 1:05.1. I'm sorry to be so blasé about it, but this main Grand Prix, this Austrian Grand Prix, has almost come easy for us. This has been absolutely crazy. The pace has been phenomenal. I'm in a really happy spot with the car. It's doing exactly what I want it to do. I've got a little bit more confidence in the rear end. I can push it. But crucially, even when I'm not pushing it, it seems quite fast. This is a race weekend to remember. And now we are only one corner away from winning our first ever race on F1 22. Marduk Motorsport has arrived.
Come on! Now we can fight! Oh mate, great job! Great job! You've done everything we wanted today. That is brilliant.
Absolutely incredible. And Mark Webber gets driver of the day as well. What a day for the team.
Well, that might not have been the finest race in history, but there's no question that was a critical win.
What? Is this guy serious? I think Alex Jakes is a Max Verstappen fan.
And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Welcome then to the podium, our top three drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
Well, there we go then. Benjamin Daly for Marduk Motorsport stands on top of the podium in Formula One, much to Alex Jakes'
You are the luckiest person in existence.
disgust and Alex Gillen's disgust. We have done it. We have won in a car that we designed, that we made, that we drove to victory here in the Austrian Grand Prix. If that doesn't deserve a like, then I don't know what does. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been 28 episodes, probably more than that, more races than that, 30 races I want to say, to get to this point where we are in a position to win a race. And, well, we may have let one or two opportunities slip through no fault of our own, or maybe sometimes through our own fault. But today, we didn't let it slip, and we got ourselves a race victory. Oh my word. P1. 26 points as well, and then a further 3 from the sprint race in yesterday's Grand Prix. So it's been a very productive race weekend for points. We move up massively in the drivers, and I'm sure in the constructors we should be a little bit closer to Alpine. Mark Webber there, lap 11, went to hard compound tyres, so he had one hand tied behind his back essentially. And if you look at his fastest lap was actually pretty comparable with some of those around him. You can see I'm just kind of analysing everything to make sure we have all the bases covered. But, yeah, even with the older tyres, Mark's fastest lap, hopefully we'll show it now, was actually very decent. He did a 106.6 compared to those around him. He was faster than those immediately ahead of him. And then some of those guys in the top-end cars were only 0.3 quicker. So, on all the tyres, in a slightly worse car, Mark Webber has driven phenomenally. And that just shows where the car is at. So we've made huge strides in terms of car upgrades, but also setup and a little bit of driving and confidence, which has made all the difference. We were in a commanding position, and we played it beautifully, I'd say, with the overcut, giving ourselves the freshest tyres available to just cruise home. Well, not cruise home, but, you know, really hammer it home at the end there. And yeah, we put ourselves in a great position in the constructors. At this point, I don't think we're under threat from anyone below us. Now, hopefully we can start to look ahead to try and overtake the likes of Alpine and Ferrari. All we need now is Mark Webber to start firing on all cylinders. So let's hope that that can be a thing in the not too distant future. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe. First race win of the entire series, and you guys have witnessed it. Well done for making it this far. 40-minute video right on the dot as I say it right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Comment Canberra milk if you made it this far, and I'll know you made it. But there we go. We've got the Hungarian Grand Prix next, so should be a decent track for us. We've upgraded a major front downforce upgrade for that race, so we might be even closer to the front-running guys, and who knows, this could be a bit of a mainstay for the rest of this season. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm absolutely thrilled with how that race went. Completely in control and happy. So let's have more of that in the future, please. Anyway, no more waffle. Thank you guys so much for watching. Follow me on Twitch. Depending on how early I get this out, maybe I'm still streaming the next co-op episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.